Chapter 10. The alien had been gone for some time when Rowena heard the voices. They echoed in the cave, and for one disorientating moment they seemed to be coming from the fossil skulls embedded in the walls. "What's that?" whispered Julie. She'd calmed down a bit, but her voice still shook. She claimed she was feverish, but Rowena was beginning to wonder if it was shock. She felt no symptoms herself. She shushed Julie, listened. She couldn't yet make out any words, but the tone of the discussion was clear. The voice was earnest, aggressive, demanding. Some accomplice of Jacob Hines, who was quarrelling with him, perhaps? Rowena put her mind on full alert, looking for any clue that might help her argue her way out of this. Then she heard footsteps, and suddenly she could make out the words. "Look! For the last time, I'm Joe Grant. I've been on the unit book since 1971. I'm a personal friend of RSM Benton in London. If I go missing, believe me, they're going to notice, and they won't just think I wandered off into the sunset. You won't get away with it." A pause. "Rowena!" Rowena licked her lips, tried to kick-start her dry throat into life. After a couple of coughs, she made it. "Hello, Joe. Looks like I've messed up your life again." It was an old joke between them. Back in the cottage, Joe had always complained that Rowena was untidy. Joe's face appeared. It was older and sadder, but it was Joe. "Hello, Rowena. I suppose you know what it feels like to have an adventure now?" Rowena couldn't stop herself from smiling. "It's crazy," she said. "But I'm certain, absolutely certain, that you're going to get us out of this. Just tell me what's—" "Lie down, please," Jacob Hines's voice. Bizarrely, he sounded more anxious than Joe. Joe turned round, said calmly, "Shut up! I'm talking to my friend," then turned back to Rowena. "Don't worry about him. He's nobody. Have you seen the aliens yet?" Rowena nodded, trying to repress hysterical laughter. "I've seen one. He's trying to poison us, claims we're going to die soon." She swallowed, the humour suddenly leaching out of the situation. "Julie says she's ill." "I'm running a fever," said Julie. Joe moved, knelt down between Rowena and Julie. "Gavril is testing a virus," said Hines. "We're going to destroy the human race with it." "Mm-hmm," said Joe. "Let's check your pulse, Julie." "Are you listening to me?" bawled Hines. He moved inside Rowena's field of vision. She could see the redness of his cheeks, the insanity in his eyes. But she knew the game Joe was playing, or at least had a pretty good idea. She kept quiet. "I'm Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I'm better than God. You understand that?" "Have you got a glass of water for Julie?" asked Joe. Hines was practically drooling now. "I could kill you right now," he bawled. "It won't make any difference." Joe stood up and faced him, hands on hips. "Look, I'm not interested in your loony plans. I want a glass of water for Julie. If you don't get it, I'm going to tell your alien friends that you're really working for us." Hines began to laugh, helpless, insane laughter. He collapsed against the wooden platform, giggling. "Working for you? Working for UNIT? You think that Gavril's going to believe that after all I've done for him?" "And what exactly have you done?" Hines's expression became sly. "I'm afraid I can't reveal that information." He began giggling again. "Joe, where are we?" whispered Rowena. "Kilguy," said Joe, "in one of the caves. Here, let me just look at your leg. It seems to be—" There was a snapping sound, and Rowena realized that the leg restraint was gone. She was being lifted up, and Julie had jumped up, her face flushed, her body swaying. "Follow me!" yelled Joe, right in Rowena's ear. She saw Hines aiming the gun. "Joe!" But Julie had collided with Hines, knocked him back against the wooden pallet. The gun span out of his hand. Rowena saw shadowy movement at the back of the skull-walled chamber. The alien! Jo was running clumsily, Rowena in her arms. Ahead was a glowing tree, clearly alien, clearly a gunshot, sharp, loud, followed by the whistle and echo of the bullet. Rowena flinched inwardly, but tried not to move for fear of unbalancing Jo. If it hits me, let it be in the head this time or the heart. Let it be instantly fatal. Please, God, I don't want to suffer like that again. Rowena could sense fresh air around her now, the grass and dung smell of the outside. The tree was directly ahead, its branches seeming to writhe with light. For a moment, Rowena wondered if it was something other than a tree, if it would move to block their progress. But it remained still. They passed it, and Rowena caught a glimpse of infinite detail, light in motion, beauty. Stop right there! He was ahead of them. How had he got ahead of them? She was sliding sideways, into the branches of the tree. She was going to fall, and... A gunshot. The tree flared with light, and she was falling.